Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Gene Malcolm Stadium for Bristol Rhythm AFC versus Appalachian FC. And now your starting 11 for Appalachian FC. Number 3, Andre Applewhite. Number 1, Charlie Walker. Number 5, Daniel Gael. Number 4, Ethan Taylor. Number 12, Georgios Diakos. Number 7, Jaron Otterson. Number 6, Leandro Dos Santos Heisler. Number 15, Matthew Doyle. Number 9, Nate Hoven. Number 25, Stephen Stone. And number 8, Zach Garcia. And now your Bristol Rhythm AFC starting 11. In goal, number 1, Gucci Lamal from France. Number 5, Yuli Hendricks from Belgium. Number 44, also from Belgium, Ben Fogarty. Number 8 from the UK, Kai Slynn. Number 4 from the Isle of Man, Adam Captain Cool. Number 11 from Botswana, Stu Makanye. Number 23 from the United Kingdom, Ryan Suckling. Number 19 from Austria, Alex Panner. Number 24 from the UK, Louis Hockeld. Number 27 also from the UK, Louis Cole. And number 2 from England, James Baku. And now please stand for the national anthem.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We are here. Rhythm Soccer is back on this little rainy, wet day as Bristol Rhythm are going to take on Appalachian FC from Boone, North Carolina. I'm Caleb Fulmer again, here with my commentary partner.
Philippe Berreter from Emory University. How are you guys?
We are excited. This is a big game. Last time we were here, it was just me with the legendary Clay But today we are here. Felipe is right next to me. Um, last time we were here, Bristol took down Asheville FC 2-0. After that, they went on the road twice to Port City. Unfortunately, surprising loss there 3-2. Went on the road again for a non-conference game against a conference opponent against A65 Alliance, tied 1-1. Looking to bounce back here today. Big game today against a huge opponent.
Such a big game, right? Such a good game. This is the game that if you are a fan, you want to be here.
100%. Appalachian FC having a very solid season, suffered a very surprising loss, 1-2. They lost to Hickory FC 1-0. You know, those two teams are constantly going to be the best in this conference for a very long time.
And let me also say that not just the best in the conference, but some of the best in the country,
100%.
right? Last time I see the top, I'm pretty sure that Hickory was within the top 15, if I'm not mistaken,
100%.
something like that.
I believe you're right.
So,
Hickory,
yeah.
a fantastic team. But Appalachian FC, also a fantastic team, a well-established team. I believe they're in their 5th or 6th year, I know, which is a long time in summer soccer. But yes, a very well-established team. They've actually played in the Open Cup. They've actually won Open Cup games before and played against USL 1 teams as well. So a very well-established team. From top to bottom as well, you know, from the technical directors, you know, from the coaching staff, from the players, top to bottom, a very, very, very well-established team. But you and I are here for the rhythm, so we look to see very good positive things. A little bit of a changed 11 today. We see last time we were here, it was a much different 11. We have a different captain today. The main captain, Adam Cool from Belmont Abbey, looking to get the start in the back again. As well as Louis Salkett is also getting the start. He had a fantastic game against Asheville. Fantastic player. I know him. I've got the pleasure to know him personally. He's a very hard worker. Looking to make impact in Marshall this year after his transfer from ETSEO.
Good ping.
So, Felipe, let me ask you, you know, obviously, teams change year to year, but Appalachian FC is a team everyone expects to finish 1, if not 2, in the 2 spot every single year. You know, a very, very, very good team. You know, Bristol, just a second-year team, looking to scrap, looking to be the underdog. You know, you as a head coach of a team that has, you know, come a long way, worked hard, came up through from more of the lesser ranks to work hard to achieve more things. So what do you say to your team before you go up against some of these bigger teams as well? Especially, you know, you helped guide Emory and Henry women's soccer from the transition, you know, in your first and second year when you're going up against those, you know, Lenora and Catawbas. What do you say to the players before the game?
I think, personally, I feel these big games are the easiest ones to coach, to be honest with you. I think all the players are very engaged into the game for the most part. I think everyone is ambitious. That's why they're here as well. And the fact that you can play at home in front of your friends, families, it's a big benefit, right, for the home team.
100%.
But yeah, but answer your question. I mean, you know, it's are the easiest ones to coach. I think the only thing you have to make sure you mention the players is make sure we are competitive, make sure we're competing. There's an old saying coaching that we say you do not coach results, but you do coach performance.
100%.
So I think Bristol should control what they can control, and I bet that's what Coach Louis told them. And as long as they can perform well, the results will come. But this is one of those games that, you know, as a coach, you don't have to motivate anybody. You play against, you know, one of the top teams in your conference, not just in the conference, but in the country, right? So everybody knows what they're going for, and everybody's motivated for it, especially in front of their fans. From the tactical standpoint right now, it's going to be an interesting one. Both teams playing with the back three. Appalachian seems like a 3-4-3. Bristol Rhythm with a back three as well. Almost a back five defending. So it's going to be interesting to see. This is a game that could be a lot about transitions from both teams. We said in the past before that playing with the back three make you exposed to transitions, but now both teams are playing with the back three. So it's going to be very interesting to see. In terms of position on the field, these teams are going to be almost perfectly matched.
100%.
Even though it seems a little bit more like Bristol Rhythm is playing like a 3-5-2, but still almost mirroring each other.
So what I've noticed that, there's never with Bristol, there's never a constant, back four, back three. Like from a head coaching standpoint or from a player standpoint, is that
Good
tough?
chance here.
What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, I think we can see this from 2 points of view, right? First of all, it shows that Coach Louis trusts his team, right? So that's why he changed his back line and changed his back five with wing backs as well, and that's good. If that's our line of thought, the fact that Coach trusts whoever is playing there is going to do the job. So that's a good giveaway. Lucky you.
Well recovered.
But that's a point of view to see it. The other one is, can we keep the stability for the next games? Because obviously, especially as a backline, you have to have some type of stability. And as you can see now in this backline, our captain is one of the ones that normally doesn't come off, and that shows that he's a pillar there. So yes, I think until a certain point is good that he changes, but by the perspective can be dangerous as well, right? In terms of stability. Ooh. Good chance.
That looked different from this angle.
First corner of the game, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes,
correct?
it is. I would also like to apologize to the viewer standpoint. My voice is going to go in and out today. A little under the weather, but I'm here. I want to be here. I'm excited for the game, but I do apologize. So I may let Philippe take some of the lead, but I trust him to do a good job. He's a smart guy.
Some days. A raining day here today.
Rainy day, but still a good crowd.
I agree.
A little bit before the game, we were a little worried, but people came out of the cars. They're here. They're ready to support.
Call the corner for Appalachian here. I have my questions on this one, but we'll take it.
Are you a wet grass type of guy?
Yeah, I mean, I think makes the game prettier, if that makes sense. The ball rolls faster. If you are a soccer player that likes speed, which most of us do, and to be fair, I said this before and I say it again, the grass looks in great shape. I know from the camera it might not look like, but from here, the grass looks good.
It does, yes, it does. It looks
very straight, no bumps, seems like. Sure, it's not completely green. I assume it's Bermuda, but it's still in a good shape.
So, every year teams change. No matter what the level is, no matter if you're pro, semi-pro, or college, or, high school. Teams change every single year. But the reality is, last year, this was actually the home opener. This was actually the team opener in team history for the Bristol Rhythm, and it was a 3-0 loss to, once again, a very solid side. Some of the guys who are still here for the coaching staff, do you think they have that on the back of their mind? Or do you think, it's just a new year?
I don't believe so. Honestly, I think this summer league is very special. Because the year is so short and so long for these college athletes. Obviously, not all of them play college, but most of them did play or do play. I don't think they really think about that. And, we talk about this the other game where a lot of this team from Bristol Rhythm is different from last year. There's a lot of changes.
100%.
So I don't think so. And I bet Coach Louis, that's part of the team talk, which was like, this was our first game, inauguration game, and it didn't go our way. Now it's our time to maybe, mark a point and show that we can do and how much we have come, Appalachian is pressing very high.
Yes, they are. And there was that giveaway just a few minutes ago.
Yeah, there's been a couple times already that Gucci has been there in a little bit of trouble. This is going to be a very good test for Bristol Rhythm because Appalachian is a very dominant team. It's a team that likes to be in possession, teams that wants to dominate possession, teams that wants to control the game. So it's going to be interesting.
So let me ask you, every game is different, but with the press like this, how long before you do change your approach? Because you've already seen one giveaway, and then you've already seen almost another giveaway. How long before you change your approach and maybe be a little more direct. Because but the thing is, we've also seen that it's very tough to be direct on this field, and teams are still not figuring it out that it's a shorter field. So like, how long, in your opinion? Every game is different, but how long, in your opinion, before you do change and you tell Gucci to just get it out there, or play long?
I think is a very good question, Kilo. I think obviously we have to identify patterns, right? Not just what happened one time. We have to see what happened 2, 3, 4, 5 times, and that's what defines a pattern, right? Something that repeats himself multiple times. And we have been seeing a pattern here already. Not a lot yet. It's been probably a couple or a few times. It's starting to become a more solid pattern here. And that's when Coach Luis is going to start making adjustments. We also have to see that we only are 9 minutes in. It's still early. But it will be interesting to see when the change will start being made, because right now Appalachian has that's a good chance here.
Oh,
have to score that one.
100%.
Has to score this one. But again, we'll take it. One thing I have to tell you right now, and obviously we are almost 10 minutes in, very impressed with the 3 center backs from Appalachian so far. Very composed, very mature, identifying when they should play short, when they should play backwards, when they should play forward. Very mature, like this foul right here. Maturity in terms of killing the play right away. I don't
100%.
believe was on purpose, that it was meant to make a foul.
Not every foul is bad.
But an aggression that doesn't allow Bristol Rhythm to go forward. So it seems like a very mature back 3 there. And I bet if you're Appalachian's coach, you have to be pretty happy.
That was a great turn there.
100%.
He's a great player. Marshall's getting a good one for sure. I think if he had successfully cut in, I think we would have got a shot there.
The way I like to see the game is obviously the back 3 seems to be a strength of this Appalachian team. So it's very clear that playing those central balls is probably not going to work out. It's probably not. If that's part of the game plan, I could probably make a bet that it's not going to work out as much. However, with our wingbacks or even our strikers, even our number 10, since it seems to me that Bristol Rhythm plays with 2 up top, 2 9s, it will be important for those 2 9s to make rupture movements, to maybe try to pull away those center backs to allow the second strike or even our 10 coming from behind to create superiority. Because if he's just sending the ball towards those 2, I think it's going to be tough. I think it's going to be very, very difficult.
I agree. But I guess we'll see,
Yeah, 100%.
We'll see how it goes.
Because like I said, this central ball is not going to work out in this game, it looks like to me.
That's frustrating there too, because I'm not saying there's a scoring chance, but you can always put a ball in the box there.
100%. So far, Appalachian controls most of the game, I would say.
Which is kind of what we expected.
Yeah. Like I said, they are the top dogs. They are the ones who should be in charge. They are the ones who want to be in charge every game. However, not a lot of chances. I mean, We talked about this before. This field does not allow a lot of chances from positional play.
No, it does not.
Allows a lot of chances from transitional moments or even set pieces. I said it before, and I'm probably going to say it every game this season, but set pieces are key in this stadium.
100%.
You have to train them. You have to take advantage of them. Any team who has played here before has no excuses to understand what they are going for.
I mean, I know that every game I've been here commentating this season, has been the opener's been scored by a set piece.
100%.
And you weren't here last game, but it was very frustrating because no one used the long throw. I was sitting up here telling Clay, the long throw is key. We saw the A65 Alliance, they almost got to go back. It was called for a foul, but they got to go back from that.
100%. I mean, if you have played here before, if you know the facility, especially if you're Bristol Rhythm, you have to have rotations within your set pieces because you have to make them count.
100%.
Like you said, throw-ins, free kicks, corner kicks, all that good stuff. I mean, you have to have some type of routine there because you could take advantage of those moments.
No matter who you are, it's going to be tough to score from open play.
100%.
On here.
100%.
Especially, if you want to use the wide areas, but,
seems like a
there's not
foul to
lot
me.
of space, yeah.
Good job from the referee. Give an advantage and call the foul. Well done. I'm pretty sure that's what he was explaining now. Good job from the referee there.
Let's see what they do here. Last time they went short, it didn't work out, so let's see what they do here. We're only 3 people up, so doesn't look like anything, but we'll see.
I tell you, I was not here obviously the last game. I'm a big fan of this player, number 8, Kai. I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing him wrong, but I'm a big fan. Very composed on the ball, creative, knows how to dictate the pace. I'm a fan. He has a fan in me. That's a chance.
Oh, wow.
That's a banger.
Oh, wow. What a goal. What a goal.
That's a banger.
Ladies and gentlemen, you may have just seen the best goal in this stadium so far. And just like that, your Bristol Rhythm are up 1-0 against one of the best teams in the country.
First shot in the game. First shot of the game.
Hit it first time on the ground. I mean, beautiful. You could not have asked for a better strike.
Goalkeeper was beaten.
Very solid goalkeeper as well.
Yeah, goalkeeper is beaten. I mean, there's nothing you can do. Good goal. And now this is going to make the game more interesting. If you are a Appalachian and you are one of the top dogs in the conference, this has to sting you a little bit.
100%. Goal kind of out of nowhere there as well.
100%.
Appalachian's been dominating a lot today, and for the first 16 minutes, and first shot, first goal. But that's the way the sport works sometimes. That's why it's the best sport in the world.
And we were talking about this during during Champions League. That's the beauty of this sport, isn't it? Appalachian was definitely the team who was in charge, and Bristol Rhythm ended up being the one scoring the goal. Right? That's just the way it works. That's why we love this sport. Anything can happen any minute. Seems to be something going on there.
Yeah, I'm curious what they're talking about here.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on, but seems like some type of argument between coaching staffs.
Appalachian coach, that's the assistant who stepped up there. He looks
100%.
very upset.
100%. I'm not exactly sure what happened here, but the assistant does not seem happy.
Nope. I think we need to revisit, talk about how just fantastic that strike was as well.
100%. It's a banger.
I mean, hit fantastically,
I don't know if you have access to replays, but if we don't have, just, go back. Go back on the game, just watch, 1 minute ago. It's a banger.
Yes, fantastic goal. Very, very, very good goal. Honestly, if I had more of a voice, I would have been screaming for that one. That's very unfortunate. I feel very bad that I couldn't have given more. But the reality is, there's still 75 minutes to play.
100%. It's plenty of time. A lot can happen. A lot can happen this game still.
It's kind of like what we were saying before. Like, even though that was technically open play, it wasn't the most obvious. He had to luckily hit it first time. It wasn't the most obvious. It's going to be definitely hard to get one of those glamorous goals here. Even though it was well taken, it was still a very sloppy goal. So that's why any throw in any corner, any free kick, no matter what it is, you have to take advantage of it. and you're gonna and the thing is, it's got to be tight in the back. That's for sure for the Rhythm. It's got to be tight in the back.
And once again, let me emphasize this again because it has been a trend in the last few minutes that we talk about this. Bristol Rhythm seems to keep insisting with that central ball within the three center backs, and it's not going to work. They have three solid center backs, three players who are very composed under pressure. I don't remember, to be honest with you, a moment where any of the three lost a air ball or 1v1. Yes, very well built, the three of them. So if this is part of the plan to insist in those back three, is not going to happen. So I bet Coach Louis and the coaching staff saw it already, and I bet they're trying to communicate that to the squad, and probably there'll be something for the halftime talk as well.
100%. And you know the this Appalachian defense is very solid. The best team, one of the best teams in the country, only scored one against them, Hickory. You know, it's very hard to go down there and get something. So you shouldn't be banking on a second one. You got to keep it tight at the back for sure.
Good job, good play, good support, frontal support, and then the rupture run in behind. That's a ball.
Oh. It looks like he's kept it in though, yes. Oh.
Let me just tell the importance there. What we were just talking a few moments ago about those rupture runs towards diagonal. You know, their run made by one of our strikers, you know, having the center back to make a choice to either stay or go. Those are the type of moments that we have to have going on.
100%. You know, the job as a striker is not always to score the goal.
100%,
you know?
But open the space for someone else to get in.
That's the thing. Every kid wants to be a striker, but it's not always the most glamorous thing in the world. You know?
100%.
It's just like sometimes there may be goalkeepers who don't make a save because the ball's never there. Just like as a striker, you know, the ball may not come to you, but the runs are still important. You still
This is a dangerous one.
Oh, wow.
Appalachian already a couple chances there.
100%. They should have a goal. You guys can't see it on your end, but the Appalachian coaches are not very happy right now.
No, not at all.
Almost every single thing that occurs, they're up on their feet.
I'm not exactly sure what happened. It seems to me that was something related to the center backs, to those air balls.
Yes.
I think that's what they were complaining this time. To be honest, at least from my standpoint, I think we are too far away. I couldn't see exactly if that could be a foul or not. Those air balls, to be fair, most of the time benefit the attacker because the center back comes from behind
100%.
and has a tendency to put the hands on the back, and that's always, depending on the referee, depending on the situation, can always be a foul. So that always benefits, you know, the striker, especially if the striker does a good job of trying to pull that foul away from the center back. But once again, let me remind you what we talked before. Even though it was a foul, it did not lose the air ball. And I do not recall one time they've lost those air balls.
Nope.
It's a great tackle. That's never foul.
I don't know about that one.
That's never foul. The referee has to be careful. He can lose
Yes, he
can lose the rhythm of this game.
Number 19 there, Alex Pander, very, very upset. Arms in the air. Rightfully so. I'm not sure about that one.
Yep, I'm not sure either. Seems the only ball to me. But the referee has to be careful, not lose the control of this game.
Yep. Crowd's already upset. Coaches and staff on both sides are very upset. You see Coach Louis there talking to the fourth official.
Yeah, but both staff already talked to the referee. The players seem to start a few arguments here and there. So again, the referee has to take control of this game. If not, it's going to be a rough one.
Especially with the fact Appalachian are big dogs and they're coming here and they're losing right now.
That's a great ball.
So that's going to make them even more mad. You know, we've seen it firsthand.
And if you want to consider, this is the very first shot from Appalachian, 22 minutes in.
Wow.
Yep, very first shot. Not a lot of chances so far. Like I said, you know, Appalachian got the build-up right until the attacking third, but never really had the chance to finish them. They had a couple of good layups there, and then they just never were able to finish, and even try to take a shot on. Second chance for Appalachian here. Getting closer. Still not on target though. Remind me of Inter today.
Yes, very surprising game as well.
Yeah, crazy game. That's not a usual Champions League final.
I mean, that
Oh
goal.
no,
oh
not
boy.
there, not there.
I mean, there are more goals in the final today than there have been in the last 4 finals combined, basically.
100%.
So many 1-0s.
Good ball. Appalachian very aggressive on the reaction to loss of possession.
Yes, they are.
Very aggressive.
Oh, it looks like he caught out of bounds there.
Very difficult for Bristol Rhythm to win the second and third ball. And then the high press. Good job from Gucci, Lung Ping, air ball, and like we talked about. Through balls do not work on this field,
No, they do not.
especially when you are new attacking half. Bristol Rhythm looking to build up again. And
Yep.
when we talk about the adjustment, seems like no, they're building up still. It's
Oh, boy.
it's too many
It's-
times already.
that is
It's too many times
100%.
losing the ball within your, not even middle third, but defensive third.
Especially when you have the lead.
Yes.
You know?
Good job.
Oh, wow.
That has to be. That
Yes,
has
it
to be a
is.
yellow. Yep. Yep. That has to be a yellow.
Tempers are flaring here today.
Mhm.
You know, I know you weren't here, but we saw this last game against Astro Louis. He's a fantastic player on the ball. He really is. He had
Seems
a
like there
very-
was an argument between our number 24,
Yes. You know,
Louis. Yeah.
Louis had a great, youth career. Played in the under-18 Premier League. You know, he had a great college career at TSU, and moving to the runner-ups in the national championship last year.
That seems like a handball to me. That seemed like a handball to me.
It's like their heads, like it's like these center backs' heads have like a target on the ball. It's very impressive.
That
Oh,
that seems
wow.
like a late challenge. It has to be
Yeah.
yellow as well. If he keeps the criteria, it has to be yellow.
100%.
Captain Cool, 100% right there.
That I'm very shocked that's not a yellow.
Yep. But
Especially when there was just one handed out, not
But
less-
once
less than a
again,
minute
Caleb,
out.
let me tell you what we just said a couple minutes ago. The referee is losing the control of the
100%.
game right now.
100%. And with him not getting a yellow there, I'm curious
Yep.
what's going to happen.
Yep. If this keep at this rhythm, we'll have a red card eventually
100%.
from any of the teams.
And not for something necessary because of tempers,
Yeah.
because of attitude.
The rhythm kick, but they're waiting for that Appalachian player to move 10 yards back off the ball.
They're asking for 10 yards.
Yeah,
here.
the wall
crowd's
seems
getting
too
upset.
close. The
Yep.
wall seems too
Yep.
close.
Slenny sends it in. Got goals there.
No handball there, it says.
And it's out for a goal kick.
Right now, with close to 30 minutes in, forgive me if I miss anything. But as of right now, I only have 2 shots for both sides. 1 on target for Bristol Rhythm, 0 for Appalachian. 0 saves for both goalkeepers, and 1-1 in corners.
You know, first 5 minutes ish was very Appalachian dominated.
100%.
But since then, I feel like it's definitely been you
Yep.
know 50-50.
Yep.
Honestly, I think it's been a little bit of a sloppy game.
Yep.
Even like the refereeing standpoint,
Mhm.
things like that. You know, little like handballs here and there that could have been called. You know, dangerous challenges as well. I think it's been one of those games.
I agree. I think Bristol is doing a good job of keeping the game alive. Not allowing Appalachian just to have the ball just by itself, but kind of give them a challenge as well.
And I think sorry to interrupt, but I think right there is where they're going to hurt Appalachian. You know, balls over the top, these guys are putting in fantastic headers, but when you get them to your guys that can take it forward, you know, it expose the space, you know, that's what you're going to find the most success, in my opinion. Especially if there have been some of their running or making a run to the wide areas beside him. I think you could find a little more success.
I agree. I think part of the game plan for this game would have to be not to find the strikers, but to allow our strikers to run in behind or with diagonal pass lanes towards the side, and allow our midfields to be the ones dribbling the ball.
100%.
Because those center backs, we have to dislocate those center backs somehow, and that'll be the best way to do it. Because even though that Bristol Rhythm is playing with 2 up top, looks like to me, it's still not dislocating them enough.
I agree. I think honestly, really, truly, the mark for the Rhythm should be once you get to half, no ball in the air. You know, once you even get close to half, just keep it on the floor, play around, take it forward, take it to them.
This number 7, I'm sorry, I don't know his name. I know he's a good player though. I don't know his name. I don't know if you know Caleb.
Yes, he's from Barbados.
It's a very good player, but he hasn't really showed up. Credit for Bristol Rhythm on that one as well. Ulysses very well on this situation of open out wide to create almost a build-up with 4. Very good, and that's how this might be an idea going forward, right? One of our midfielders shifting to another side to allow almost building up with 4, replacing a non-existent fullback. It could be an idea to try to build up and try to create superiority against Appalachian, because it's very clear right now that just building up with 3 is not working. It's definitely not working.
Very unlucky corner there as well. You know, he was trying to shield out, but just a lot of pressure from behind.
Another set piece. Not a good ball. We take it.
You know, we talked about this today. At this level, the ball should always play off a corner, you know.
Let's see it again. The build-up. You can see Ulysses already kind of switching to one of the sides to kind of do the build-up with 4.
Yep. Louis told him to go out wide.
Yep. 100%. But now like this. Good job. Good job finding the midfield. Well done.
One thing that bugs me about build-up is when it's to the same side every time as well. You know. Press worked well there.
That's a good opportunity right here. That's a very good opportunity. That's a great save. That's a great opportunity.
Offsides. A little confused by the shot, in my opinion. I think really and truly, if the goalkeeper had touched it, I think that was going wide, in my opinion. But once again, it's not me on the field, it's him. So.
It has to be a foul, but you give advantage. Give advantage. Yep. Good call from the referee. You have to give him credit as well.
Very, very physical game. In my opinion, out of all the games we commentated, this is the most physical there has been.
I agree. Expectable, right?
100%.
Not surprised.
A lot of very, very good players on this field are now representing fantastic schools as well.
An overlap there, played. Good opportunity. It's a very good cross and it's a great defending as well.
100%.
Any cross that you can put inside of the box, the tense cross, you know, close to the ground, that's a textbook cross. That can create danger. Another opportunity. But Gucci hasn't made a save yet. High press again, and we have to go long.
If you're the Rhythm, you have to be careful because eventually one of these is going to go in. You know,
100%.
Appalachian's a good team.
Yeah, and has been 3 times at least where, because the 3 shots from Appalachian came from the same play, ball out wide with the cross.
100%.
Out of those 3 times, there's always a free man at the edge of the box or right inside of the box. So Bristol Rhythm, I agree with you 100%. Bristol Rhythm has to be careful with that.
And, you know, on this press, like Appalachian, they're not hiding it. You know, they're putting them as close as legally as you can.
100%.
So maybe that's an adjustment at halftime, because like maybe they're gonna come out and press like that, and then if your front 3 is that close, there has to be safe space somewhere else. You know.
I personally also don't feel that, you know, it's funny that one of the team's problem is the other team's strength, if that makes sense.
100%.
So in this case, you know, I also don't feel that Appalachian used the strikers as good as they could, especially the frontal support from a strike. It seems like the strikers are always running behind.
100%, because they have some very solid personnel.
100%. The strikers don't really get on the ball, and that can be an issue as well. Good job, Gucci.
Clean hands.
Caught him in transition now. I mean, you know, it's a long ball, but he didn't have any other solution, so better play safe.
I understood the idea as well.
Yeah,
You know, trying to switch the field. You know, he has a fast winger play too.
100%. In transition as well, transitional moment.
He was off balance, leaning back. Sometimes you're not gonna be able to hit it the way you want to.
If this keeps up like this will be a massive upset.
100%.
You know,
100%. I'm sure Hickory is licking their lips right now
100%.
because that, you know, I mean that puts them safe in first place.
Yeah, because there's still a lot of games left, but this would almost put a nail in the coffin. You know.
Not to mention how huge of a 3 points this would be. You know,
Yeah, 100%.
I'm not saying the Rhythm didn't go into your thing they would get something, but you know, like I'm sure a 3 points from this would be a blessing.
100%.
Because then after this, you know, I believe that they go to A65 Alliance again, and maybe if they can get another 3 points from that, you know, they're pretty high up in the standings. You know.
The ball has been very played centrally. You know, if we don't have the stats with us, but if you start, I'm pretty sure I just saw the coaching staff asking Gucci to start going long, from my understanding.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure I saw Coach Louis giving instructions there. They were definitely giving instructions to someone. I'm not exactly sure if it was Gucci, but he was giving instructions to someone to start going long. I mean, it makes sense. 37 minutes, 7 minutes ago, playing a little bit more direct because you have to keep the result until halftime.
100%. You know, a goal for you from either side would change every single, all the halftime talk. So I'm sure that they would love to go in with a lead like this.
And let me tell you, in this field, if you have an advantage of 2 goals, it's not easy to overcome that.
No, it is not.
Not on this field. Yes, you always play with the set pieces, but if the other team defensively set on set pieces and you just relying on positional play and playing the game, it's not obvious.
And that was good. That was very good recovery.
Yep. Another corner. Appalachian with 4 corners so far.
He no matter the other game, he puts in a shift every game. It's not hard when you're wing. It's very hard when you're wing back getting up and down that much. It takes a lot of effort.
And there's the mascot. Bonjo, right?
I think banjo, yeah.
Banjo. Forgive my Portuguese on this one.
I'm very shocked to not see Appalachian's mascot. They usually bring him everywhere with them.
It's true. Appalachian normally has a very good crowd. Seems like it's a bit
Yes, they
low
do.
today. I mean, I understand. It's not a long drive, to be fair. If I'm not mistaken, Bone is like
an hour and
an hour
20.
or something like that.
But
Close.
it's not super far
Yeah,
away.
between 1 to 2 hours. So not a bad. Beautiful town, by the way. You know,
It's alright.
if you don't get a car sickness, because those roads are kind of tricky, but easy drive.
It's all right. I'm from near there, so I know the area very well. It's all right.
That's a good opportunity. Good
Big
ball.
schools there, though. You know, App State, Leeswick right nearby. Good tackle there. What a tackle.
And another corner. It's becoming a very direct play, a very transitional game. You attack, I attack. You know, it's just the way the game has been the last probably 15 minutes. You know, you attack, I defend, I regain the ball, I attack now.
It
and you
feels like
defend.
basketball.
Yes, very transitional, always.
Yep, it feels like a basketball game. You know, everyone gets a chance with their possession.
Yeah. Nobody really sets and looks to,
Nope.
create attacking shape, but just back and forth attacking.
Long throw here. Someone did their research.
Yep. That's an easy ball in between both players, goalkeeper face, and that's a good one. That'll be a good one to press. Coach Dale does not look happy.
No, he does not.
And if you ask me, I think he has reasons not to. I do not know exactly what the game plan is by watching the play. I don't think Appalachian still was able to manage to play on this field, to be honest with you.
Yep.
The size of the field seems to be a struggle still. Seems a lot of direct play. I mean, if you look from here, I mean, you have 3-4 people running behind the ball. And that's great, but the balls are not being played. And also there's nobody checking in to receive the ball either. One thing I give them credit is, and that's true, is they project a lot of people going forward.
Yes, they do.
And if Bristol makes a mistake defensively, it's going to hurt, or it can hurt. Like right here, too many people around the ball. I also feel for us, it's good obviously, but Appalachian got the ball a few times right at the edge of the box. They could have tried to look for a shot,
100%.
just try to test Gucci a little bit, and they haven't really done it. They always try to play feet to feet or throw ball to look for that perfect pass or for that perfect shot, and it's not really working.
I'm not sure if the viewers can see it on their end, but a little bit of anger there from the Appalachian player throwing at the Bristol player.
I also heard that the best way to disorganize and organize people, an organized team, is to be disorganized, if that makes sense. And it seems kind of a little bit what Bristol is doing. Appalachian is a team that like to play from the floor, side to side, involve the midfielders, look for long balls towards the attacking and wide players. And what Bristol Rhythm is doing, not settling the ball, a little bit more aggressive in the transitional moments. So that doesn't really allow us Appalachian to set the ball and try to look to play their gameplay or the way they want to play. So I assume that's probably something that Coach Dale is going to talk at halftime, is the fact that, if I'm looking from the standpoint of the coach, what he's probably going to say is we are playing their game. And that's not what you want as coach. That's a good chance.
Good touch.
Good defending now from Bristol Rhythm. Still a 2v1 wide areas. It's a good chance. Nope.
You might as well take your time. Not long left here in the game.
Ooh.
What do you call as a referee?
I'm not sure what
I
the
don't think
ref
that
is
was the
doing.
full. Switch to the ball. Smart.
we have to find a way to include Ulysses a little bit more in this game.
I agree.
Not just defensively, but offensively. Defensively, he's doing a good job. He's doing what he can.
Yeah, 100%.
But offensively, Ulysses is good for being. Oh, that's a good chance.
Oh, wow.
Yep. Yep.
Not Appalachian's day.
Yep.
Every half is different. You never know with the second half.
Agree.
But not
This
Appalachian's
is a penalty in movement. Have to take those chances. You know how soccer works. If you don't score, you get scored on. That's probably one of the first rules of the game.
But no, I agree with what you said about, Ulysses Hendricks. He was key in that huge win over Alliance. Very key with the ball at his foot. I haven't been able to see him do a ton today. Hopefully he gets a lot more involved in the second half for sure.
That's a good chance as well. Nobody getting in for the cross. This might be, if you coach Louis, you're waiting for the halftime.
100%.
Because the game seems to be, Bristol seems to be losing the control of the game a little bit.
100%,
So
100%.
this halftime will come right on time. Try to cool down Appalachian a little bit. Well done.
Beautiful challenge there.
Halftime should be anytime soon now.
Wonder how many minutes he'll give of extra. Not a lot of stoppages, a little bit. I'd say if he'll give 1 or 2, wouldn't be a mistake. That was a couple things, especially after the goal. There was a little of an argument between coaching staffs.
100%. I think I just saw him signal 2. It was
2.
either 2 or 1.
Yeah, like I said, it seems fair. 1, 2. Good defending.
Yep.
Good defending from Baku. Well done. Baku has a big challenge on that side as well because he has a big boy to mark.
100%.
Like I said, this halftime comes around. That's a foul. Yep.
Take your time with the Bristol. Take your time.
And this will make it. This will close the half.
100%. Give it time
Probably.
to set up.
Yeah.
edit it,
Good.
and this time.
Captain Cole is probably going to run the clock a little bit. Just make sure everybody's in position. Actually, Gucci's going to take it just to run the clock a little bit more. And this will probably put a period on this first half. Yep. And
Halftime.
close the half.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, it is 1-0 to your Bristol Rhythm at halftime. Flip and I are going to take a little break, get some water, and we'll come back to you for a little analysis, start the second half.
Don't forget to take this halftime. Hit up
And we are back for the second half, everyone. Philippe, we've already seen some changes. You know, what are your thoughts? What do you think? What do you think went on during those halftime talks for either teams?
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting because I only recognize one sub, number 7, the striker. He's actually a very good player. I said it before. He seemed like number 14 went in. I might be wrong, but he seemed like to me. We don't have access to those type of stats right now. I'm curious to know what Coach Dale was thinking, because obviously number 7 is a good player. Like I said before, he was not being involved in the game a lot. If I had to say from the coaching perspective, if there was a change, it was either physical or there's a change of the game plan, which I found it more probable to be the game plan.
100%, because he is a fantastic player.
100%.
I'm sure he,
So,
you know, even though you can understand, the team success is more important than personal success. I'm sure he's also is frustrated as well.
100%. I mean, and you can see he's on the bench. He doesn't seem very happy, but that's part of it, my friend. Just keep your head up. You're a good player.
I'm very curious what this next 45 has in store for us. You know, do the Rhythm hold on? Do we see an equalizer? Do we see another goal? Or does it stay as it is?
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, Appalachian start well. You know, start right away with the corner.
And if you notice right here, Bristol just went long. So I wouldn't be surprised if that was communicated.
100%. I
Which
didn't
is
even
the
notice,
right
to be honest with you. Yeah, I mean, that's probably the first adaptation that Coach Louis talked at halftime. And we talk about this, right? That the build-up had to be rearranged. And the way to rearrange is maybe the best way is not even to build up, right? Just play direct or look more for a direct play. A different way to build up, I guess, more direct towards your attacking players.
I mean, if you're going to give away the ball, would you rather give it away in their final third or
100%. Oh, miscommunication there. Oof, good opportunity.
App had some vengeance, that's for sure. They are not happy. They're going for blood.
Yeah, it's a good start, and let me tell you this as well. Bristol has to wake up quickly. Has been one shot and one corner in 2 minutes, probably a little bit less than that. So Bristol has to wake up quickly.
100%.
Bristol has to remember that even though they are in the lead, it was hard to get this lead from.
100%. It took a pin perfect strike to get that lead.
100%. And we all know that those strikes don't come often.
And
Hopefully come, but we know it's tough.
And Appalachia is one of those teams. If they score one, they're not just going to score one. There's
Yes.
2, 3, 4.
Yes.
They've even scored 6 this year. That no mercy from this team at all.
Yeah.
They're the best because they want to be the best, not by accident.
In terms of formation, attacking system, I mean, Appalachia seems to keep the same. Seems to be a 3-4-3 once again. It seems like number 14 is more of a wide player, almost as a winger, while number 7 look like more of a central player, almost like a second, third striker, if you want. So they might affect a little bit more. Even as you can see on this side, number 14 seems to use entire width. So it'll be interesting to see how that will change Bristol Rhythm. But let's think from the tactic perspective, right? How can this influence Bristol Rhythm? One of the things we said from right away was the build-up was tough because the pressure was so high.
100%.
But part of my thoughts feels like number 7 was a big responsible for that because he was making the... Yes, and the central area was very congested in the attacking third. So now with Appalachian with the winger, a more wing player looks like to me, they should be able for the center backs to spread more and allow the midfields to drop in to receive. Now maybe could be the good idea to look to build up, at least give it a try. I understand what Coach Louis is doing. No point on taking a risk. You're winning 1-0. I probably would do the same.
100%.
But watching from here,
Well, it actually looks like we may
yeah,
get something a little bit different here.
yep, and it makes sense. And it makes sense, right? Because it seems like number 14 is way more of a wide play, using more of the wing.
No, we were wrong. I really thought they were going to build from there.
We also wonder if if Coach Louis talk at halftime about if we're going long, let's use the wide areas, because just sending long balls towards central areas towards the center backs, that's probably not going to save us today. It's not going to help at least. That's a late hit. I wouldn't be surprised if there will be a yellow card, to be honest with you.
Yep, he's reaching for something. Yep.
Yeah, it seems like to me. I think seems fair to me.
This does feel like a game where there's going to be many more cards. Hands are already being thrown, and little chats.
Yeah, it seems like a late hit to me. I think it's fair.
Trash is being talked for sure.
Yeah.
I could definitely see
One thing I appreciate the referee for this one is even though he's a yellow, at least I assume obviously the referees, they talk at halftime. And I bet one of the things that the referee said is, hey, we have to make sure we keep the control of this game.
100%. It's not just coaches and players who talk. It's referees as well. They have a game plan as well. They're trying to execute. So I'm sure that they communicate that as well.
And it's a good way for the referee to keep control of the game by saying, hey, I'm in charge. It's my game, not yours. And I'm going to make sure I dictate the timing of the game and the fouls and make sure we keep the game clean. So I'm not saying that I disagree with this referee decision at all. If the head was not in the middle, I'm not sure if that ball could have gone in. That's a good transition moment. That could be a penalty kick. That could have been easily a penalty kick.
I'm actually very surprised that wasn't.
Yes. I wouldn't be surprised.
The ball there.
Because for me, it seems like a tackle. It seems like with his hands, he kind of grab, push the Appalachian play. So I think Bristol Rhythm is very lucky on this one.
The App FC coaches are on their feet right now. They look thoroughly upset.
But I have to agree with Coach Dell. This one seemed a little bit,
100%.
maybe a little bit obvious to me.
Yep.
But Appalachian definitely growing the game.
Well, at least we did talk about it. They need shots. They definitely need to put shots up. So that's what we just saw.
I think it's super important that Bristol Rhythm is able to survive these next 15 minutes.
100%.
Because we all knew that they're going to talk at halftime and come strong starting the second half. So if Bristol Rhythm can survive these first 15 minutes, they have a high chance of coming out with a positive win. But it's not looking good right now in terms of capacity to keep the ball and capacity to keep the control of the game. The funny thing, Caleb, is if we go by the stats and if we go for actually saves, right? And what I mean by a save is has to be a dive, has to be something that actually gives some challenge or some type of technique to the goalkeeper. There's no saves from either side. That's the truth.
Oh, wow. Which is crazy because of how end-to-end the game has been.
Mm-hmm.
But no, I can agree. I feel like the final product on either end is poor.
Exactly.
Other than the goal. The goal is fantastic. But
I mean, I'm probably going to mention this every game that we play here, but stats do not care about your feelings. And if you look at the stats, 2 shots for Bristol Rhythm, 1 on target, 1 corner, 4 shots for Appalachian in the first half, 3 in the second half, so 7 total. No shots on target, and 6 corners. So as you can see, it justifies what you just said about in terms of end product, probably not the best game.
Also, so very surprised we did not see a handball in there as well, or a foul. But it's not been a game where the ball's just been bouncing in the middle of the field. In the air a lot. It's been very end to end. Either team has been to the final third several times. I mean, Appalachian FC, I feel like it's been down there more, but still.
I know they were calling for a handball, but the ball was close to the body. I'm not sure. Ooh, that seems a late hit. That sounds about right to me. That sounds about right to me. Seems like was the attacking foul first. So
bodies were flying there, but he made the right call for sure.
I agree as well. It was an attacking foul. And and this is good for Bristol Rhythm. The more we can slow down the game, the more we
100%.
can kind of cool down Appalachian. I mean, that's brilliant.
100% agree.
These small fouls that Bristol Rhythm can control and take away from Appalachian, I mean, we take everything we can get, and we enjoy those moments to cool them down and to kind of take control of the game. That has to be yellow. Yeah. I think,
I understand the foul there. As well.
yeah, I just wonder if that was necessary.
No.
I
can see
think,
the thought process, but I
yeah.
don't think it was necessarily needed.
yeah, I think the Appalachian player had a lot of Bristol Rhythm players around them, a lot
100%.
of purple surrounding them. I'm not sure if that foul was needed. And obviously Ulysses now is conditioned, and that's something that's funny, right, in coaching, because that's another thing that the coach has to pay attention, right? How will those yellows condition your strategy and your players?
100%.
As we know, Ulysses is a fantastic player for Bristol Rhythm. He's an important player, and the fact that he's conditioned with a yellow
100%.
with 35 minutes ago, that can condition your game plan.
Well,
Especially in a game
can't
that
be
seems
as
spicy.
free, can't be as aggressive.
100%. So that's something that coaches have to think about this as well. That seems like goal kick to me. Yep. The rupture moment that we're talking about. Yep. And finish. That was your chance, Kilo. But we're talking about this in the first half, right? The rupture movements,
100%.
how we can get those balls in behind through balls or diagonal runs. And if you play those balls, we can create superiority.
Good tackle there by
Yeah,
Ryan.
that's a good tackle.
Good tackle there by the ETSU player and former Gardner Webb player as well.
That's a foul.
Yeah.
Also, let me tell you about our build-up. Interesting moment here. We talked about before halftime how it'll be important to include our midfields a little bit more in our build-up process, especially Ulysses, who's such a good player, right? And it's very clear on the build-up moment. Our center backs are nice and wide, with our wing backs providing full width and full depth. I mean, in our build-up, our wing backs are already halfway line. And then, like we talked, there should be an idea going forward. Will be Ulysses and for example, Kai, dropping in to try to receive that ball. So I think that's good from Bristol Rhythm.
100% agree. That was a great header out by the way. It's going to require all positions.
That's a transitional moment.
Oh. Let's see if we can save this.
That's a good opportunity.
Yep.
Definition could have been better.
Yep.
But this is what we've been talking about, isn't it? Is the fact that the ball is penetrating the attacking half, the attacking third multiple times. It's just the definition on the final third, or how to create. I'm not even going to talk about the finishing of a chance. I'm going to talk about the final pass, right, in terms of the construction before we take the finishing moment.
I think honestly, the second I understand it, but the second he looked up, and his shoulders were back a little bit, he wasn't in full sprint anymore.
Yeah.
Like I was a sprinter, and one thing they say, never look to your side. It's very obvious you're on a 1v1, just the goalkeeper in front of you. Just go all the way. I mean, that's my opinion on it. But
that's another corner. Good reaction from Bristol Rhythm, though.
100%. But also we have to give credit to the center back there as well. He closed it very quickly.
But this is also what I told you a few minutes ago. If Bristol could last this first 15 minutes, we're already close to 60. It's hitting that 50-minute mark. The more chances we'll have, And the less discouraged, the more discouraged Appalachian will be as well.
Here,
good job from the keeper providing the cover.
100%.
Gets his head all over that one.
I do wonder as well when we'll start seeing subs from the Rhythm. Actually, in fact, I see someone warming up there that looks like Grayson.
I think
Grayson
Mate
Cunningham.
and Pedro, I think. Is that Grayson or it looks like Mate to me? One of them is definitely Pedro. But I believe he's Mate.
Well, they're going to be absorbing a lot of pressure these next 30 minutes. They're going to need fresh legs for sure.
Mm-hmm.
On top of these counterattacks, they're brutal.
Yeah. And if you look, Mate, Pedro are two attacking players.
Yep. Eventually, Stooge has had a great game, but eventually, it's tough. He's been doing 60 minutes of sprints,
Mate is a player who can give you a lot of, obviously, creativity. I'm not sure about that one, but he gave advantage over them.
Which is fair.
But like I say, Mate and Pedro, both players who are very creative. It seems like Mate is coming to game. Yeah, he's taking his jersey off, so he'll be the one. He'll be the first sub from Bristol Rhythm coming in. Mateo can play as a 10, can play in the middle, can play on the wing, so it'll be interesting to see. In the moment that Bristol Rhythm plays with the back three, I think it's hard to say that Mateo will play as a wing back. So you'll have to be either center mids on the build-up, or my guess would be more as kind of as a 10, as a false 9 role, kind of to drop in to receive and find those pockets in central areas. I would assume that's where we'll see him acting a little bit more, I would say. But again, I might be wrong. Coach Louis.
I'm also very impressed you were able to see who that was that far away.
I have my glasses on today.
Glasses for sure.
That's true. I have my glasses on today.
Very surprised we didn't see a foul there. A lot of hands. I have to say it again. Fantastic crowd here tonight.
100%.
Back stands, a very, very solid people here tonight.
Great soccer weather.
Especially with the weather,
Great soccer weather, though.
100%.
Now that it's not raining, not warm, not cold, not even that humid, to be honest with you.
No,
it feels good. Some wind. That seems like a foul to me, but you let it play. I know we are in support of the Bristol Rhythm, but I think Coach Dell can have some complaints here today so far.
I also think it's interesting as well. He had his whistle in his mouth. And
yes.
Then, he shrugged.
Yes,
so
I think.
Very, a little concerned by that one.
Yeah, I think Coach Dell could have some complaints here today so far. I'm not saying that the result was influenced or is being influenced by the referees.
No, because they've had their chances. They just didn't concede.
Yeah, but
here we go.
That's a transitional moment. That's your chance.
Let's go to goal. Go to goal.
And product. And like I was finishing my thought, I don't believe the referees influenced the result so far.
No.
But I do believe there was a few calls and maybe a few yellows that could have been shown so far in favor of Appalachian. But
I could agree.
It is what it is.
And it looks like Ulysses is going to be the one coming out today.
Okay. Like I was saying, one of the midfielders. It looks like Mate, unless if the game plan is changing, but it looks like Mate will be joining the midfield. I think it's fair, to be honest with you. I don't think Ulysses have definitely, a great game, if that makes sense. I don't think it was necessarily him individual performance. I just feel that's what the game gave you, or what the game shows up. So I assume that that's just part of the game. Some games are your game, some games are not. Each game, each individual has different characteristics, and each game is a game, and you have a game plan, and you have different personnel to different tasks. So.
And the Rhythm free kick.
I think also the substitution of Mate makes sense in terms of, I think Coach Louis saw as well, there's been a very transitional game. And with Mate coming in, a speed player who likes to drive forward, he might be able to find those pockets, turn, and provide superiority on those transitional moments, I feel like. And as you can see, Mate here seems like the number 10. Seems like more of an attacking player within the midfield.
Well, and the last game that you were here against Alliance, he only got I think 5 minutes around there. Not a super long amount of time, but today a nice good 25 minutes.
Actually, seems like Mateo will play as a second striker. It looks like to me. At least in the pressure moments.
Ooh.
That's a good cross. Great defending. I mean, but Mate is exactly what I was telling you in terms of second striker, false nine. I assume he has authorization from Coach Louis to drop a little bit into the pocket and receive the ball and look to turn. So, like I said, I think the sub is legit. I think it makes sense.
100%.
But it seems like there's another sub coming in. Pedro's coming in. I assume, Pedro's more an offensive player. I assume it will either be playing striking or midfield position again. Probably just giving some energy in the midfield. The only concern I have about Pedro's sub is Pedro's an offensive player as well. We already put Mate in.
100%.
I wonder if we might not, lose the midfield a little bit for lack of defensive effort.
I think another goal would be nice, but I don't think it's the goal.
Yeah, I agree.
I don't think that should be your plan.
I agree.
I think you just need to hang on because,
I agree.
1-0, 2-0, they're both 3 points.
Can we settle that ball, Mate? There we go. That's an overlap. Good job. Can we have a good delivery?
A lot of energy
There
so
we go.
far. Yeah,
And we finish.
Back. It's 2-0.
There we go. Good play.
2-0. You love to see it. 2-0.
Good job. What I have to tell him, man, what a work from Mate. What a work from Mate.
Came on 3 minutes ago.
Yeah.
Changed things. I mean, it was already 1-0, but I mean, a 2-0 lead.
Yeah.
With this little amount of time to go, I mean, that's fantastic.
And that's what I was saying, isn't it? The fact that Mate comes in with, that creativity, the capacity to hold the ball and go 1v1s and create, superiority. That's exactly what I told that could happen. So very happy, very proud of the kid. I'm going to mention again, I was part of the coaching staff who recruited Mate to King University back in the day. So very happy to see the kid do well. I know it sounds obviously not taking away the credit of the person who scored the goal, but come on, I think it's solid to say that 80 to 90% of the goal came from Mate.
He got it there.
Yeah.
That was fantastic.
Ball play out wide, Mate with the overlap and Mate with the assist, and Mate came in not even 5 minutes ago maybe,
100%.
and 1 assist in 5 minutes. If you're a coach, you can ask for more than that.
And if you're the Rhythm as well, this is dream scenario. Obviously, there's plenty of time to play, but this is dream scenario for sure. And Appalachia's gonna be going quick. So if I were them, I would make only defensive subs from here on out.
And this, and as you can see, Pedro went back to the warm-up. I mean, it makes sense to me. It's an attacking player. You are in control of the game. Now we have to manage, subs a little bit better.
I agree. I would say I would hang on here because anything can happen because they're gonna want to go quick.
And, once again, what I said from the very beginning, if we can survive the first 15 minutes,
100%.
we can stay in the game and find chances. 8 minutes after those 15, we score our second goal. So
And we have to give credit as well. Both goals from open play.
100%.
Which is, we've seen a lot of Rhythm goals this season, and, set pieces, a lot of corners. But both goals open play, the first goal, was just a hell of a strike, but the second goal worked very well. Very, very well. So very impressed. I mean, this is a dream. This is a dream game.
That could be a foul, yeah.
Yep, and that's a good area.
I don't want to be that guy, but honestly, I feel that this puts almost a nail in the coffin. I think 2-0
100%.
with, 20 minutes to go. Appalachian doesn't seem anything goes their way today.
No, and we don't know Appalachian super well, but, I would assume their best offensive players have already been subbed out.
Yep. Yeah, so I think this is, I won't say it's a done game because how it works this game. Soccer is, until the referee blows the whistle, it's still on. But I think it's fair to assess that,
and
it's going to be tough.
Will we see Gucci's first real test today?
Yes, 100%. Good position for a free kick with the grass, wet. It's a good test, very good test.
See if it's on.
Let's see what happens from here. Good job, Gucci. Well done.
Wonderful save by Gucci Lamal.
Appalachian still does not have a shot on target though. Sorry, except this one.
Yeah,
This was the
this is
very first
yeah.
one. Sorry.
It took him 70 minutes to get there.
Yep. Last transitional moment again.
That's very surprising for a team like Appalachian. They're coming in this game, they're second place, and then here they are, down 2-0 to the Rhythm.
Good defending.
What? It's not going to show up in the stats. Stu just had a hell of a game.
I agree, especially defensively. I don't think offensively he has done much. Again, that's what the game gives us. But defensively, I think he's doing a great job, especially in the second half.
And this is a guy that has played some big moments. He played, I don't remember how many, but I think he played over 30 minutes in Milligan's run to the national championship. When they played in the national championship, I think he played around 30 minutes. This guy's played on big stages. He's definitely a key part of that Milligan team.
Yeah, like I said, offensively, the ball hasn't really been played, but defensively he's doing a good job.
100%.
And like I was saying, Pedro come back as a striking position. I could see him in the midfield as well, but I assume he's a classic number 9, right? I would assume Coach Lewis thought was just refreshing up top,
100%.
nothing new,
100%.
just increasing the speed a little bit. Keep the momentum, keeping the stamina levels high as well, and try to maybe go for another one. Who knows?
Yep.
Appalachian will have to expose themselves a little bit more now.
100%. They're going to have to.
If they want to try to come out with a result out of this, which is getting difficult.
And it happens like, they're going to put everything on the line. They're going to get exposed.
Especially for soccer guys like us, losing by 2, losing by 3, losing by 4, losing by 1, it's all the same thing.
Still a loss.
Loss is a loss.
Still 0 points.
Yeah, so if I was Appalachian, not sure if Coach Dill is going to wait much longer. I see 3 people, in the warm-up, but no subs yet. So I don't know. I want to be completely honest with you. I was expecting almost a straight sub as soon as the goal was conceded.
100%.
Try to change something, but it doesn't seem like it. So we'll see what will happen.
Coming to us from Colombia. And it's a rhythm ball. And it's a free kick for the Rhythm.
I could not emphasize more, Kill, the importance of Bristol Rhythm to put away these home games.
100%. I mean, this is the 3rd home game. If they get to do this, it'll be the 3rd win, undefeated at home.
And we talk about this in the first game, the home opener, how tight this field is, how hard it is to come play here. If you can put away all these home games, you're going to have a great season.
100%.
So it's so important that Bristol Rhythm is able to put away these games, especially against these big teams. If you get a win in this game, this is going to shake the conference.
I would love to know. I was just about to say I would love to know what the rest of the conference is thinking right now.
Good pressure on it.
Good, like I said, good defensive.
100%.
Good defensive role. Well done.
Very impressed. He's been up the field several times. He's getting right back.
Yeah, and I bet that's been a challenging game for him. As you can see, he has more, attacking attributes than actually defensive, right? He wants to go forward. But this is the type of game where he had to defend more rather than attacking. And I know, oh, that's a good chance. And I know as a wingback, that's not what you want all the time, but you have to take it for the team, and he did a hell of a job so far.
He doesn't look tired, in my opinion. He looks fine. I would have been dead 72 minutes ago.
No, I agree with you. I mean, that's a good thing he has his endurance as well, for sure. That's a dangerous building up right there.
Oh, boy.
Good job, Captain Cole. Well done. Good job. Great work. Pedro, good fight holding the ball. Well done. That's a foul right there. There's a 1v1. There's your chance. There you go. Good save. Second one, finish.
Oh, boy.
Good defending.
We almost saw 3-0
Well
there.
done. 2 shots.
The crowd is loving this. They are loving it. And we're loving it as well. What a night it's been so far. Here's
This Rhythm offense is hungry for it.
ball in.
Ball.
Ooh. Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's
3
getting
studs up challenges in a row.
Yep. From both teams, to be fair.
These next 15 minutes are going to be chippy. Referee better be careful for sure.
Rhythm has a player now.
Oh boy, Louis on the ground right now.
Seems like the play that you're talking about with the studs up.
Oh wait, that's not Louis, I apologize. They're both blonde guys with the same haircut.
I know the assistant referee has a good, good vision towards it. So if it was a, play for yellow, because also just to inform, our followers, a play like that with the studs up could easily be a red card if he hits a play directly. It didn't seem like to me. I don't think, obviously, I don't believe it was an intention, and I don't think the studs hit him directly. But if have to be careful because that could be a red if he hits a player.
This crowd very upset right now. Very upset that the Appalachian players are surrounding the Bristol players on the ground. Which I do think is interesting as well. I wouldn't be okay with that. I'd be very upset as well. And that was Kai Slynn on the ground as well. He was a very, very important player for this team. The Milligan boy as well.
Guys, a Milligan graduate and scored our first goal here tonight. One more time with the man field here for Kai Slynn.
Still no subs from Coach Dale. No changes, seems like. That seems like a 50-50 challenge to me. It didn't seem clean to me.
And I know the audience can't see it, but Coach Dale's
Okay, now we got the changes. 3 changes in a row.
his body positioning, he is clearly very upset.
Yeah,
Legs
3
close
changes in a row.
together, arms crossed, standing up very straight. He's thoroughly upset for sure.
And I personally don't feel it's about the ref or anything besides, the person in the mirror. I think he's looking at his team and he's not enjoying what he's seeing.
100%. I think, as much as we all love the Rhythm, I don't think we expect them to be 2-0 up.
No,
with time
definitely
to go. Not saying it couldn't have been done. We saw it could have been done, but Appalachian is a fantastic team. This was a 3-0 game last year.
And not just that, Caleb. I don't want us to, be arrogant or anything, but it hasn't really been a difficult game, if that makes sense. In terms of
other than the giveaway at the beginning, that was a little shaky.
Yeah, it hasn't really been like a game where Bristol Rhythm has struggled or anything like that. Obviously, nothing against Appalachian, fantastic team, but
no, it's not like it was 20 shots to 1 and the one scored. Like really and truly a neutral could come into this and really and truly Bristol was the team that was more established, but they were the second place team. But Appalachian just did not seem like the team that they were supposed to be tonight. That's all whatsoever.
Substitution here. 2 players out, one of our wingbacks. A lot of running on that side. Makes sense. Wingbacks are one of the positions that have been running the most all game. Trying to refresh the wings as well for the last final minutes. That's a great transitional moment, and you can kill it. That's a shame. You had your chance to kill the game.
As well.
Appalachian very exposed to transitions. Very, very exposed. And this is not just now that they're losing 2-0, it's from since the beginning of the second half. Very exposed. I understand that you're losing 1-0, you have to be a little bit more risky in what you're trying to do.
Pick your poison for sure.
But very, very exposed. Yeah, but nothing going the way of Appalachian. And, the game is with Bristol Rhythm right now, right? I mean,
100%.
every time, Appalachian has to push forward, Bristol Rhythm is going to wait for a decision. And once the decision is wrong, we try to hit them in counters. I mean, it's simple game as it is. I mean, and this probably be the rest of the game. Last 10 minutes, probably, I'd say probably at least 5 minutes of extra time. So we talk about run, probably 15 minutes left. Appalachian is probably to hit the ball a little bit more long, in desperation to find that goal that might be able to open the game again. And there's a good chance here. That's a hell of a save, Gucci.
What a save. Up.
That's a hell of a
What
save, Gucci.
Save. Oh, my word. What a save from Gucci.
Good job, Gucci.
Phenomenal. And it just seems like the Rhythm's day, that's for sure. I mean, what an insane save.
And the funny thing is, Gucci has 3 saves in the game. 2 of them have been a goal situation, these 2.
100%.
And even though that Gucci did not have many saves, he had for sure the best 2 saves of the game.
Well,
now.
The important thing, I mean, you're a goalkeeper. The important thing is when you're called, you answer. You know, and
I agree.
You should. You don't want your goalkeeper to be involved the entire game, but when you get called on, you answer the call and you do the right thing. And he just did. I mean, that was fantastic.
Yeah. But this, this only proves what we're talking about. The game is not going Appalachian's way, And Bristol has to take advantage of it. Going to send long inside of the box, see what happens. That's a good ball. That's great defending. Great defending.
Ben Fogarty, great defending. The guy who had the brace against Asheville FC last time I was here commentating.
I didn't really pay attention to the subs from Appalachian, but I would say the only change is probably to refresh people and maybe put 1 or 2 more up top.
100%. I mean,
just see what happens.
Look how high the line is right now.
Yeah, be more direct and try to ping balls inside and see. But again, this game is...
I mean, the goalkeeper's coming up to this semicircle.
This is the type of game that, I bet Coach Dell is going to watch it back and he's probably going to avoid to watch it back. Probably not a game that you want to watch.
I wouldn't watch it.
These are the type of games that, happens in every team. I mean, it happened to us this year as well. And
100%.
those are the type of games that are so hard to watch back, right?
We had a game this year I definitely did not watch back.
Yeah.
Just move on.
Yep, it is what it is. Yeah, but definitely Appalachian with a way higher line now.
Now for your Bristol, just everything out. I feel like he touched it there. That's going to be foul.
I have to question that a little bit as well. I understand that people are going to say that he went for the player, but he's in protection of the ball, so the ball is at stake. So I'm not sure.
Coach Dale Parker of Appalachian FC on his knees right now, hands on his face. He is upset.
Coach Dale definitely not very happy with it. Like I said, I think he has a reason to be upset with some plays today. I don't think that's a reason why he's losing 2-0, but I could definitely understand the frustration, especially as a coach. I mean. But let me tell you as well that Appalachian seems to be running out of ideas.
100%.
Nothing really happening. To be fair, Bristol Rhythm, besides those 2 shots that Appalachian had, Bristol Rhythm had the best chances in transitional moments or just positional play. Good job defensively. And as you can see, even in Bristol Rhythm playing with a back 5 now. Just trying to squeeze the space. Controlling well the depth as well. And this last 6 minutes are going to be of suffering in Bristol Rhythm. Will be, like I said, defensive weight, trying to hurt them in counters. That
was light.
That seems like a soft call to me.
And the worms, you just have to finish out this game. You can rest after the game, you can party after the game, but
I think if I could be fair about what happened in this game, and we'll do the reflection at the end, right? Wait, another opportunity. if I do the reflection at the end of the game, right, I think the story of this game was Bristol Rhythm's first goal.
100%.
I think, Appalachian can see the goal, and this could easily. I'm not sure if I agree with this call. There was a hand in the face of one of our
100%.
players. It seems like it could easily be a yellow card on this one. But finishing my thought, right? I think the story of the game was the first game from Bristol Rhythm. I don't think I don't think Appalachian was able to react from it.
No, 100%.
I don't think Appalachian was expecting it either. And since the goal, that Appalachian really made much. No adjustments, no really subs. The subs who came in didn't even really change the game. So yeah, I mean, all credit for Bristol Rhythm, but I think the first goal definitely conditioned the rest of the game, and I don't think, which is part of the game, right? But I don't think Appalachian, try something different to try to break Bristol Rhythm.
I agree. They looked like they were coming out firing in the second half. I don't know where it went.
That's a chance. 2v2, and he's fresh still. That's good defending. That's a good ball. Gucci. Good job, Gucci. Good job, Gucci. Controlling depth. Well done.
I'm curious after this game finishes what downtown State Street is going to look like tonight after this big game.
I agree.
Celebrations are definitely due. They definitely deserve them.
And it's up for a rhythm throw in.
Yep, the referee's going to warn him for taking too long. And he gets a yellow. We all know that was going to happen eventually.
Part of the game.
I would tell my players to do the same thing.
Yeah.
We have to tell our players to do the same thing.
Part of the game. Have to play with the clock now. Has to be yellow, Mate. And I think that's what Captain Cool was saying there. There's no need for that. I think that's what he was saying.
100%.
Sure, you take the yellow, but it's not just the foul, right? It's not just the yellow. It's the fact that you put your team in a dangerous situation, and this is what Appalachian wants right now.
100%.
So it's kind of playing their game. So I think that's what Captain Cool was trying to say there.
Because I won't be surprised if we see at least 2-3 minutes of extra time.
Yeah, I would say probably a little bit more than that. I'll say probably 5-6. I wouldn't be surprised. But let's be honest. If Appalachian was able to score a goal, right, this is going to turn into hell.
100%.
The last 5-6 minutes.
100%. In this rhythm crowd, trying to do everything they can to throw him off.
Nope.
Gucci just got to take his time for that one.
Under a minute of regulation play.
That sums up App's game right there.
I agree.
To a T. Off balance and uncomfortable.
It's hard to assess this because obviously you cannot assess a team based on one game. But I think it's fair to assess right now that Appalachian is not a team that likes to be losing. Obviously, not any team likes that, right? But it's a team that it's a team that literally wants to be in control, wants to be the one in charge. Worst case scenario, they have a tie.
They're used to be. They're not used to this,
Because even if you think the other good team, Hickory, they couldn't come back from it. So I just think it's a team that doesn't seem comfortable by being losing. An expression kind of we use in soccer. They want to be the bullies, not bullied. If that makes sense, it's an expression that we use very often. And Bristol Rhythm, showed their teeth as a small team. A small team in terms of history, in terms of, young still, but showing their teeth and showing that it doesn't matter how many years we have as a club. We're going to come here to play, especially in front of our fans, right?
100%.
Yeah. Good play.
It's going to be a long bus ride home.
Mm-hmm.
Or van ride home.
I think it's a bus.
You think they took a bus?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wow. Big ballin'.
But you see, that only proves
The
more
stature of
about the club. Yeah. And I bet you'll see a big celebration at the end of the game by the Bristol Rhythm and the fans, obviously.
Oh, when roughly observed,
Because this is a really, really big win. This would be a really big win.
This is a statement for sure.
Yep. And
This is a huge statement. I think the only thing for the Rhythm is
can we see a third one though? Unlucky. Still in. If we can go to the corner, we can keep the ball in the corner. Yep. That's a good play. Oof. Unlucky.
It's going to be a Rhythm throw. And they changed their mind, I guess.
I know we want to attack, but I think that could be an opportunity for Bristol Rhythm to go into the corner
100%.
and let the clock run.
Don't get greedy.
Yes. I understand. I mean, it's hard not to, right, when you have so much space. But maybe that could be a good chance to kind of go into the corner. That's a good delivery. Great defending.
Sends it forward.
3 minutes in stoppages. Seems a little bit too low to me.
I agree. I feel like there were a lot of stoppages in this
Yeah.
game.
I think 6 minutes, it will be fair, I think, at least.
But I mean, I don't think either team's mad. I think they're just ready to get out of there.
Mm-hmm.
Even for Appalachian.
I think that was a 50-50, but still, you could hear the noise from you.
100%.
Lucky. Excited to be the celebrations at the end, because this, like we mentioned before, it's gonna be a big win.
100% agree.
Great work. Stooge has to be, for me, in the second half, one of the best players, I think.
100% agree. Just go back real quick.
It's a good strike. I do believe Gucci could have done a little bit better.
Referee could blow it any minute now, but you know it's looked like it's still going to be a Rhythm win. But you definitely wanted the clean sheet.
Yeah,
You definitely wanted
I
the
do
clean sheet.
believe it's a good strike, but I do believe Gucci could have done a little bit better.
Yeah.
I think he could have at least, I'm not saying he will save it, but he could have tried to go for it and see if he could make a save out of it. You know, if I'm not mistaken, it looked like to me almost that Gucci thought the ball was going off.
I'm sure, you know, Coach Lee wanted to get out of here with a clean sheet for sure, and Gucci as well. You know, anything could happen right now. The worst thing that could happen is you leave with a draw.
That's a
Well, this was very unexpected last few minutes.
100%.
Where was this the entire time? Oh boy. Appalachian went a high kick there.
Yeah. I don't think it was, but it was.
Appalachian there upset as well that he paused on a good moment of form. I don't know about you, but I still feel like there's a little bit of drama before we leave.
Yeah. I'm not exactly sure. I mean, it was very clear that he tried to head the ball. I think, again, this is the first image that we got, right? It looked like his head went too low. We're looking at the play right here. We're looking at from the angle that we have. And I assume the referee's going to call a drop ball. No, I mean we watched the replay. It didn't seem like to us. He went with a low head, but he not even touch him. I think seems like a clean play to me. I don't know if you agree, Kelly, but that's what I saw at least.
I think the second you put your head that low, I think it's.
That's good, so. Good job, Gucci. That's a massive save, Gucci. Oh. That's unnecessary, boys. No need for that. That's a hell of a save from Gucci. Hell of a save from Gucci.
Might have just saved the 3 points there.
Yeah. Yep. Hell of a save from Gucci. Well done. And I hope the referee kept track over his watch.
100%.
Because
we are deep into further what we
in
should have been into.
98 minutes. I mean, I'm not exactly sure how many more minutes he has on him, but it's a hell of a save from Gucci there.
Yep. I mean, he put his body on the line there for sure.
And that's why people can say whatever they want, but it's the best sport in the world, isn't it?
100%.
You know,
100%.
Bristol Rhythm with the game completely controlled. It looks like they were going home easy or stay home easy. You know, with a 2-0 win, out of sudden a shot outside of the box to 1, and then, you know, multiple chances so far of Appalachian in the last few minutes to get the equalizer.
You just wonder, you know, where was it? Where was it this entire time? You know, any fans who left early to beat the traffic are gonna look back.
I'll just say I'm sorry.
They're supposed to be like, wow, missed a little bit.
Yep.
Especially if that second one went in.
Gucci seems okay. That's good. Good news. It seems like he got stepped a couple times.
You, the rhythm coaches, you are sweating right now. There you go.
And he called it.
There you go, ladies and gentlemen. Your rhythm upset as the underdogs. They upset Appalachian FC.
Big win here.
2-1. What a game. Beautiful goals. Fantastic game.
Thoughts?
You know, honestly, just looking at this full-time reaction, I expected maybe a little bit of trash talking at the end, but everyone's being very cordial.
Yeah, both teams being cordial.
100%.
I mean, and to be fair, that's the way it should be, right? 2 very good teams. Two very good teams with good players, good coaches. You know, it's what we call, good pedigree of
100%.
players, right? No need for, crap talk at the end or anything like that. Both teams very professional, including the coaching staff, so that's good to see as well. But it's a very big win for Bristol. This is an important one.
I will say, obviously yes, it's a win, but I think that those last 3 minutes, I think it changes the celebrations just a little bit.
I agree.
I think if you had walked out here 2-0, I think Coach Lee would have been having the night of his life. I think everyone would have the night of their life. The 2-1, as is, you'd still win. We kind of expected App to get a goal, but I think after that confusion on the line, I think it changes the celebration just a little bit. You're still happy. You're still excited. The reality is this summer, once you return to your respective schools, like that's what you're here for. Everyone's here for development, things like that. You still want to win, though. It's as a human being, you still want to win. And so, I think Coach Lee, his mindset may be a little bit different right now versus what it was 10 minutes ago, if the game had ended 10 minutes ago.
I agree. I agree with 100% what you just said. Obviously, it's something that we tell our girls as well, isn't it? Playing at this level, college, summer league, it's hard to win. You're going to play against a lot of teams that are going to be very good. It's not easy to win. If you switched off, the other team is switched on, and you can concede out of it. 100%. And Bristol Rhythm prove this today, right? But like I said, it was a very good game from both teams. Was extremely challenging. Was good to watch. Two good teams. A lot of sportsmanship. Obviously some feisty moments, but that's just part of the game, and people have to understand that when you are so passionate, and all of these guys are, those moments are going to show up. That's just the way it works, right? Same thing with coaching style. But at the end of the day, it's a good group of men, right, who want to do the good things and want to play good soccer, and they want to, obviously have the support of the fans. So that's important, right? That's the most important part for me. I would say so.
Would you mind to read out those stats to all of us?
Yeah, the stats that I have, right, so far, or that I had during the entire game, I have 6 shots for Bristol. Again, my apologies if I miss anything, but obviously we don't keep stats like that. 6 shots for Bristol, 4 on target, 3 saves, 1 corner. Appalachian, 3, 6, 7, 11 shots, 2 of them on target. 3 of them on target. 4 of them on target. And 3 saves and 7 corners. That's what I have from my end. I don't necessarily think that the stats reflect the game itself. I think this game was a game where was very divided. Both teams could have won this game easily.
100%. Appalachian could have put this game away in the first 20 minutes.
100%. The truth is, the game was well played, but in terms of finishing opportunities, there was not many.
100%.
In terms of end product, until the last probably 5-10 minutes, there was not really any chance from both teams. There was a lot of good, well done play and tried to get to the final third, but the execution of the final pass or the final shot, it was not necessarily good. For all the teams. I have to give a word about the refereeing as well. Again, I don't think the referee influenced the result. I think the referee, in the first half, lost a little bit the control of the game.
I think there's some question.
Yes, I think Coach Dell can have some complaints about the refereeing here today.
I don't think really truly, like even with our players when they complain to the referee, the thing is, you still got to put away the goals. The referee can't put the ball in the back of the net for you.
Yes,
there
I
are
agree.
Several chances they should have scored on, but I agree there were a little questionable decisions. I feel that, Coach Hill, if you are watching this back, I feel for you a little bit.
Yeah, I agree. I think that was a few calls that could have gone the other way, but that's just the way it works. That's why you cannot leave everything to the referee. That's just the way it works. You have to put him away. The truth is, and we can, if you allow me, go a little bit off the resume of the game. The truth is this: the game started. Appalachian was by far the candidate to win the game before the game started. The top dog, and as soon as Bristol Rhythm scored, they never were able to deal with it. They were never. The ideas were not there. The shots were not there. The execution was not there. The through balls were not there, and it's just one of those days, that nothing goes your way. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised, Caleb, if they will play again tomorrow. The result will be completely different.
100%. Just wasn't their day.
Just one of those days. In terms of MVPs or players of the game, I had to give a shout out to Appalachian's, back three.
Yeah.
I think they did very well. I think I compliment them in the first half, and I say again at the end of the game, I think the only reason why they got a little bit more exposure or sorry, a little bit more exposed throughout the second half was because obviously it was a very transactional game, right, in the second half. It was more direct play, and it was harder for them. Like we talk about this, that since the beginning of the second half, that Appalachian exposed themselves too much, especially their back three. And that's kind of what we talked about at the beginning of the game, wasn't it? The fact that we need those three center backs to move more.
100%.
The more compact they stay, the more difficult it will be to break them down.
100%.
And the fact that Bristol Rhythm was able to, and I think it's not necessarily just Bristol Rhythm credits, but a little bit more the merit for Appalachian that was able to try to go after the score. The three center backs start getting split a little bit more, and that create more dangerous opportunities for runs in behind and diagonal runs and all that good stuff that we talked about.
100%.
I'll give a shout out if I had individual player number 5. I'm sorry, I don't know his name. I know he was a player for Limestone, and from my understanding, he's transferring to Flagger. Very, very good player.
100%.
Left foot player, looked like to me. Good player, solid center back, very good in the air. I do not believe he lost an air ball. So I give him a shout out because I was very impressed. In terms of Bristol Rhythm, I think you could name, you can drop multiple names.
I agree.
I feel personally that was more of a team performance than individuals.
100%.
It's just my personal opinion.
Everyone was going up for what they needed
Yes,
to.
yes. I think it was more of a team performance. If I could put out three names, if you allow me, obviously Gucci, right?
Ooh, yeah.
He gave the tie. Oh, sorry, gave the win to Bristol Rhythm. It could have easily been a tie, and if we're being a little bit more negative, maybe a loss right towards the end. But I don't think. I think the worst result Bristol Rhythm could get from this game would be a tie. To be honest
No,
with
100%.
you, and this was towards the last 5 minutes. I do think it could have done a little bit better on the first goal, but I do think it compensated completely
100%.
by the saves he made in the last 10 minutes.
I'm sure he would love to have that
yes.
one back, though. As
And
well,
if you
'cause
see
did
from
the
here, he
defense.
has the hat, so I assume he was elected the MVP of the game. I would say so. Which again, I wouldn't be surprised. Fair game for him. I'll give a shout out to Stooge.
100%. That's who I was going to name.
Yeah, hell of a game. I mean, first half I thought was a little bit shaky again, less defending, more attacking. And then the second half, a few adjustments were made, way more defending and well defended. Even when the defensive technique was not necessarily there, the will, the character, the commitment was always there, and that was
100%.
unquestionable from Stooge. So very proud. I mean, a strong performance from him. Last player, if I could, elect, I won't say the MVP because, like I said, I think it's more of a team win. I would elect Mate. I think Mate was a big game changer of the game. I think Mate came in at the right time. Credit for Coach Louis on that. I think he came in on the right time. I think he was creative. Like I said, the second goal is easier for us to say that was a killer, and he came, like we said, 90% of that goal came from Mate.
100%.
Just a reminder, ball plays out wide from Mate. Mate makes a run to overlap the wing back or the striker, can't recall exactly who was there, and then Mate takes a big touch out wide or down the line and decides to do a square cross, seeing that he had another player jumping inside. So all credit for Mate on this one. Again, if I had to elect for my personal input, I'll probably elect Mate just because I think he was the one who changed the game the most from my perspective. I think Pedro had one of those roles that not everyone wants to have,
100%.
because exactly the stats don't show the work that he did, because he was a player who was basically, Coach Louis threw out there just to fight, right? I assume the coaching points was, listen, go there, try to hold the ball, to fight, get your chance, and that it is what it is. And I think that's what Pedro did. So proud of him as well. But again, I think the biggest shout out for me is Mate. I don't know if you have.
I think one
your
person
thoughts?
I'd throw in there is Kai Slayton. He scored the opener. I thought he played very well today. But Stooge for me is my man of the match, just because it's not going to show up on the stats. Unless you watch this game, unless you've played this game, you're not going to recognize it. I mean, just the ability to do. I mean, he was going up against some fantastic players. 90 minutes of full sprints, and he never looked tired. 90 plus minutes of full sprints, and he never ever looked tired. And he's probably one of the shortest players out there, and he was winning headers over guys he shouldn't be winning headers over. So it's all around fantastic effort from him. Once again, Gucci, fantastic. But I think Stooge for me is probably the man of the match.
I mean, I don't disagree with you. Like I said, I think any of those three, and again, we can even include more. Like say, you said Kai, right? Correct.
Yes.
I mean, yeah, we could definitely include Kai here and there. I mean, like for me, it was just the fact that obviously Gucci, those big saves towards the end make complete the difference, and Mateo changed the game, completely. I mean, like I said, 90% of the second goal is his, and Stu just because of the defensive work. So for me, those three were the ones who step up the most. Either way, Any final thoughts before we shut this down?
Well, ladies and gentlemen, we will be here back June 14th as the Rhythm take on Greenville United at home. In a few days' time, they will be going to, apologize. In a week from today, they will be going to Knoxville to play A65 Alliance again. So hopefully get a nice, good result, come back here with 3 points, and you never know where they'll be on the table. You know, second, third, fourth, you know, they're all up for grabs right now, especially after this. I'm sure Hickory right now wants to send a bouquet of flowers to the Rhythm for sure, because you know they are comfortable in first place right now as long as they make the right decisions
100%.
the rest of the season. Yeah, all around, just proud of the Rhythm. You know, we were all here last year. Saw, you know, the game last year when they lost 3-0. You know, put in a good performance, but still lost 3-0. This year, come back 2-1. I mean, that's what you love about soccer is the development. But yeah, thank you once again for joining us. We had a ton of fun, and we will see you again very soon.
See you guys.